All right, let's jump straight into this explainer and see exactly how we can use 12 research-backed psychological facts to instantly navigate everyday challenges. Every single year, thousands of scientific papers get published, and a massive chunk of them are all about psychology. But let's be real for a second. Reading through dense, academic studies isn't exactly a walk in the park for most of us. The good news? Applying those findings to real life is actually incredibly simple. Today, we're going to look at the practical side of all this research.
So think about this for a second. What if psychology could instantly make your life easier? By just understanding a few hidden mechanisms of the human brain, we can completely transform how we handle our own internal mood and our external social interactions. We're going to visually break down exactly how you can take control of your daily life using these proven psychological hacks. And trust me, once you see these patterns laid out, you're never going to look at the world the same way again.
Part 1. Master your inner mind. We'll kick things off by hacking your own mood, starting with the absolute simplest, most immediate trick out there. Because, well, before we can influence anyone else, we've got to optimize our own internal baseline.
Getting just 10 minutes of direct morning sunlight provides your body with a crucial hit of vitamin D. This acts as a natural mood stabilizer that produces pleasurable hormones and actually prevents depression. I know, it sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But research shows that in countries with less sunlight, severe symptoms of depression are far, far more common. So literally just stepping outside for 10 short minutes can fundamentally alter your brain chemistry for the rest of the day.
And this brilliantly illustrates a fascinating concept called perceptual expectation. This is a phenomenon where your brain causes you to see the world in a way that perfectly matches the mood of the music you're listening to. A 2011 study proved that listening to upbeat music helps you completely crush a fast-paced workout, while soft music physically primes your brain to slow down and focus. When subjects were asked to identify happy or sad faces on a piece of paper, those listening to sad music found the sad faces, and the ones listening to happy music found the happy ones. You quite literally see the world through the lens of your playlist.
So let's apply that to a really high-stress situation, like a terrible commute. If you're nervous driving to an important presentation, simply singing out loud to your favorite song forces your brain to release oxytocin, which instantly calms your nerves. Notice how the act of singing doesn't just distract you. It biologically lowers your stress and cortisol levels, and even pushes your heart rate down. You end up walking into that meeting feeling calm, confident, and completely ready to go.
Moving right along to part 2, the truth about intelligence. Let's look at how our self-perception dictates our behavior in almost every single social setting. Just look at the stark contrast here. Discovered by social psychologists back in 1999, the crucial takeaway is that highly intelligent people constantly question their own knowledge and always feel they could do better. Meanwhile, people with an average IQ tend to project superiority, act like they know everything, and loudly boast about being smart. A highly intelligent person is never fully satisfied with their knowledge. So when someone is constantly projecting superiority and acting like the smartest person in the room, yeah, that's essentially a massive red flag. Okay, part 3. Hack your social interactions. Now that your internal state is totally optimized, let's expand outward and hack your relationships to make people instantly like and trust you.
They say the sweetest sound in the world is a person's own name. Using someone's name frequently during a conversation makes them feel deeply important, whereas forgetting it instantly creates this really uncomfortable barrier. It is deeply wired into us. When you remember and naturally drop their name into conversation, you validate their identity. It signals that you value them, which makes you instantly more likable and cements a genuine feeling of importance.
Building on that connection, we have the chameleon effect. This is where you subconsciously mirror the body language, specific words, and movements of the person you're speaking with. If you subtly copy their gestures and vocabulary, they will subconsciously identify with you and quickly form a bond. Notice which specific words they use a lot, and just naturally drop them into your own sentences. Mirror their posture. Without even realizing why, they'll feel immensely comfortable in your presence because, well, they essentially see a reflection of themselves. The Dalai Lama once said, "When you talk, you are only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you may learn something new." To leave a brilliant impression on someone, let's say a car enthusiast, pretend you know a little less than you actually do. Ask them questions about their passion and simply let them talk. People absolutely love talking about their interests. By stepping back and letting them take the stage, even if you already know the topic well, you make them feel incredibly smart and valued.
But what if they just aren't talking? When someone is hiding their feelings or a conversation just completely stalls, here's the power of silence. Ask a single, open-ended question. Maintain steady eye contact and remain completely silent. Wait for them to feel the awkwardness. Human nature will compel them to fill that awkward void. We naturally hate prolonged silence in conversations. If you can just comfortably hold that silence, the other person will almost always break it, naturally sharing the exact information you were looking for.
Part 4. Diffusing conflict instantly. We have all been trapped in situations where tempers suddenly flare, logic goes completely out the window, and you need to stop a fight before it goes too far.
So, how do you stop a heated fight before it explodes? Imagine you're sitting at a restaurant with a group, and a highly aggressive argument is about to break out among your friends. Voices are rising, the atmosphere is incredibly hostile, and you need a circuit breaker right this second.
The answer? Start eating food. Seriously. Psychologists call this the snack man effect. Eating is a very passive, calming activity, so offering someone a chocolate or taking a bite of food naturally diffuses hostile environments. When our brains see people eating, it registers the environment as safe and comfortable. So if tensions are rising, just calmly grab a snack, sit near the aggressive person, and offer them a bite. It completely disrupts their aggressive momentum.
For our final section, Part 5, Habits, Choices, and Focus. Let's explore how to guide daily behavior through the psychology of habit building and strategic choices. Now, what's really interesting about this is the myth-busting truth. Take a look at this comparison. On the left, the 21-day myth, an outdated belief that expecting a habit to form in 21 days just sets you up for quick disappointment and quitting. On the right, the 66-day reality, the actual neuroscientific timeline required to actually wire a new behavior into your brain. So many people quit on day 22 because they think something is broken when the habit isn't sticking yet. The truth? Their brain literally just needed more time. According to neuropsychological research, it takes precisely 66 days to successfully build or break a habit so that it connects seamlessly with your mind and body. That is the real target you need to be aiming for.
Let's break down exactly what those 66 days look like. Step 1, days 1 through 22. This phase is highly uncomfortable and resistant. Step 2, days 23 through 44. Incredibly hard to handle with a massive urge to quit. And Step 3, days 45 through 66. Momentum finally builds and the habit locks into your routine. If you mentally prepare for these 3 distinct phases, you can actually survive that brutal middle stretch without giving up before the habit becomes automatic.
And speaking of automatic routines, we need to realize that multitasking is a total illusion. When you try to read a book and watch TV simultaneously, you aren't actually multitasking. Your brain is just frantically switching its focus back and forth, completely draining your mental energy. Your brain literally cannot focus on 2 complex tasks at once. You're just aggressively pausing and unpausing 2 different activities, which pretty much guarantees you'll do both of them poorly. Finally, let's talk about the illusion of choice. If you want to guide someone's behavior, avoid giving direct commands. Instead, offer limited, curated options and frame those choices to favor your goal, letting them feel like they made the decision. This is incredibly useful for parenting or hospitality. For example, instead of ordering a child to study, ask if they want to study English or math first. It's the exact same psychological trick waiters use to seamlessly guide your dinner order.
So, from stepping into the morning sunlight, to using the power of silence, to hacking the illusion of choice, which of these psychological tricks will you use today? We've covered the internal and the external. Which of these 12 facts will you apply right now to make your life just a little bit easier? Are you going to keep letting your brain run on autopilot, or will you actually take the wheel today?